Now, if you're struggling to square the club face going through the golf ball, always flaring it out towards the right, this is the real root cause reason to why it's happening for you. So it's got nothing to do with your inability to release the golf club. It's got everything to do with the start of your golf swing. So ultimately what we're talking about here is what I call an unstable takeaway. So there's a lot of things that make up an unstable takeaway. So that's where quite often people will do this, whip that club way on the inside, opening up that club face. Awful. So from here, if that club face remains open, you've got a lot of work to do to be able to square that club face up. Most likely you're going to block it way right. So your timing would have to be impeccable to slow that body down to give your wrists time to release. You'll most likely develop a nasty early release from there. So that's one way you can have an unstable takeaway. It's just completely whipping that club in, rotating the forearms. Terrible. So there is another way as well of having an unstable takeaway. It's actually something we see Rick Shields do as well, if you watch his channel also. And that is, as you come off the ball, ultimately overhinging your wrists to where you're ultimately creating quite a big amount of extension or cupping, you could say, of that lead wrist. But look again at that club face. Wide open, toe pointing right up to the sky. So ultimately just flicking those wrists up. So again, that's one thing we see Rick do quite a lot, but we see a lot of amateur golfers do that. That gets you up to top of the swing with a really, like we said, nasty amount of left wrist cupping or extension, you could call it. And then same problem from there. You're going to be coming down with a wide open club face, toe of the club pointing massively behind you. So the only chance you've got to square it there is to slow the body down and hard release it. That's going to be really, really difficult to do. To where my body tried to instinctively do it there, and I could really feel that wrap over happen, but it still wasn't enough. It still did not square up the club face. So this is where this one drill that we're going to talk about here is going to instantly help you immediately. And here it is. Here is the one drill. So just grab yourself an alignment stick. I do this all the time with my students online on Skillist. It really works a charm. So if you get this stick, have it going up the left-hand side of your club, whatever club you want to use, and have it coming all the way up here. So now you have the stick touching your side. And then what we do here, we slide the stick down our lead side. That's all we're doing, sliding the stick down the side. So you can see when I do that, I'm having a little bit of a chest rotation as that's happening, not a ton, just a little bit. But you can see that is making me have this club head stay a lot more on the hands. The club face is now matching my spine angle, and I can't over excessively hinge the wrists. So let's say I do my little roll move in the takeaway now. Stick detaches from my side. Immediately what happens to the club face? It's got open, the club's whipped in. That's not what we want. But now if I over hinge the wrists, again, that club is going to get really, or that stick is going to get really vertical to the ground really early. And again, it's going to quickly detach from your side. So all we want to do really simply, slide it down your side there. And this is ultimately a drill you don't need to hit balls with. You just gain the feeling. Little chest turn, sliding the stick down the side, really get that sensation there. Again, other little key things you can take away from here is having the butt end of the club pointing at your belt buckle. Really good. Put that down, same sensation. So we want to get those waggles in. Now feel like that stick is sliding down the side. Now watch this. Immediately. Got that nice tight little draw. Again, why is that happening? Because now I've done a bunch of those repetitions. I've got myself into what we call more of a stable takeaway. So we've got an adequate amount of wrist hinge, not too much. We're not rolling the club in. The club face is matching my spine angle. So my left wrist is also going to be lovely and flat. So if I maintain that nicely, which will naturally want to happen, if we get a nice full turn, good controlled arm structure, as a topic for another video, but we're going to have nicely controlled, stable club face. And now we don't need to do anything going through the golf ball, because I'm going to talk about one other little drill that you could do. It's just brilliant feedback for this. But guys, you don't need to try and really hard release it going through the ball. If you're trying to hard release it, you've got problems over that club's waist up behind you, and you have to quickly get it back out in front, or your club face is wide open. Got to remember, square is square to the swing arc, not to the target. So that's where if you're approaching impact and you see that club a wee bit open, pointing a little bit out towards the right, that's actually pretty square. We don't want that club face approaching the ball, pointing towards the target. That's closed. So that's where, again, feel that sensation. Sliding the stick down, super simple, and then get it into your swing. And there we go. Look at that lovely little nudge down there. Perfect. Again, no secret here, lots of reps. But if you want to have some reps with a golf ball as well, that is super precise and gives you a ton of feedback, got to do this. Okay, so this extra, well actually there's two extra drills that target both specific parts, the inside takeaway and the excessive hinge. So that's where we're doing this with a hack motion, because hack motion is of course a sensor that is on our wrist and measures us real time as we're moving. So super, super valuable if we want to get the best feedback possible. If we want to improve as fast as we can, we've got to have feedback. And if you do want one of these, a hack motion, it's the right time, it's Black Friday. So there is a great discount. Again, hit that link that is in description. You won't be sorry. It's a very, very good tool. So this is our first one here, and this is called the stable takeaway. So, okay, what we're doing with this drill, as we can see there with hack motion, which is, I forgot my tripod for my phone, and I turned up here and, oh no, I've forgotten it. So it's on the floor at the moment, my phone with the screen recording there. So let's have a look. So we set up in our takeaway, there we go. And what we're doing, we're getting into our takeaway here. As you can see, it's giving me some good audible there, some nice chimes, and you can see that I'm in range for a good stable takeaway. But if now I start to do that old Rick Shields move and I start to cup too much, you can see there, I'm not in a good spot. And if I swing all the way up to the top of my swing, I'm not in a good spot. See how I'm too extended? Because like we said, when we get in that real overhinged takeaway, we extend the wrist too much. So now if I have another go, get ourselves into a good position. Now I'll get myself, right, there we go. So you can see that I'm in a really good spot. It's telling me exactly, and I swing up to the top, rep captured, I'm in a good spot. So we've got that immediate feedback. So before we get to that other drill, here we go. So what I'd want you to do, if you've got one of these hack motions, get yourself into takeaway. Brilliant, then swing up and swing through. So that's where it happens every time on the TrackMan when you do a half swing or do a drill shot like that. Never really picks it up, but that's okay. I would rather a lot of players practice this part into a net where they don't see ball flight. So you can see what I'm doing now. I'm getting myself into the position and it's giving me the feedback, and then I'm pulling the trigger from there. So one more. Actually, let's get ourselves into your address first. There we go, so it can read us properly. Brilliant, so we can see nice stable. You can see left wrist is flat. I haven't hinged my wrists too much. It's physically telling me that. Now swing up and swing through, perfect. Now the second drill, this targets the inside takeaway. So again, if we whip that club on the inside, we're gonna open it up. We're gonna have to square it later. So again, now I'm in the inside takeaway drill in hack motion. So really good again. Let me get into a takeaway position. So you can see there with that bar, I was in a good spot. Now I need to finish my backswing and turn. And as you can see, I'm in a good rep captured. But, okay, if I do this wrong and I whip it in on the inside, look what happens immediately. So we're getting into our address position so it can read us. So here we go. Oh, it wants me to go to address again. Absolutely, it does this so it can accurately measure you. So they'll always reset it if that happens for you. But as you can see, too much on the inside, of course, it tells you immediately. We need feedback to change. So again, if I go back again, get into my address position, again, makes it sure it reads us. There we go. Perfect. So we got that perfect feedback. So we know we're in a good spot to swing back and swing through. And there we go. So when we marry all that together, we've done enough reps, whether it's the inside takeaway, whether it's the stable takeaway, or our drill, absolutely with the alignment stick, whatever one. I would do all of these, to be perfectly honest, if you really, really struggle with squaring the club face. And then we've got to make sure that takeaway is stable. So often, whether it's not even just squaring the club face, so many issues in the golf swing stem from the takeaway. That's why you can't not practice it enough. So many people think they have a good takeaway. They don't. So let's go here, swing back and swing through. Got on a good takeaway. I've just done loads of reps. I'll tell you what, that very slight pull shot is something a lot of golfers don't really see all too often. Still on the green, absolutely perfectly. Brilliant. So good, if you want a hack motion, Black Friday, there's a link in the description to pick one up on a great discount. But if you are struggling to square that face, this is the video for you. Clean up that takeaway, make it more stable, and you're going to be playing a ton better. You won't have to try to square it. It is going to square on its own. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you want more golf instruction, just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.